Hi everybody. Let's switch Union Spring and Wearever with my B&O GP35. No sound, but it runs extremely well. So we caught the train coming under Route 23 into Chillicothe. So we're on the westbound track, so we're going to switch Union Spring first. Now I had some problems with the red boxcar. It's a fairly new one, staying coupled to the B&O engine. I don't know why. The red boxcar is a micro chains, body mount couplers, and I just put micro chains couplers on the Atlas GP35. So when this whole thing is over, I'm going to check both of them out. It's probably the engine, but what you saw me doing right there was putting it back on the track because it keeps coming uncoupled. So I had taken it off to look at it, and then when I put it back on the track, it was back in that corner. I didn't put it on the track right. So I still, pressing my luck here, I still have never had a derailment on my layout where I haven't caused it through either uncoupling with my pick or running through a switch. I've never just had a car come off the rails. So we're going to pull the empty gondola from Union Spring. Now we're going to push it back, couple it onto the train. Stop just short of the crossing of Douglas Avenue. So now we're pushing the loaded gon into place. Again, as I've said before, for ease of uncoupling, I just uncouple where I can see it and just use the pick to push it into place. So you can see right here is where one of those times it's uncoupling. So it's probably the coupler on the engine. But I'm going to finish this operating session and then check everything out. If it's just that boxcar or if it's more cars. So he pulled up to the in front of the yard office just shy of the Douglas Avenue and just sat there. I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. But then I saw a headlight underneath the overpass. And it was a DT&I train running on trackage rights. I was going to head to Oak Hill and then eventually to Ironton. So after the DT&I train cleared, we could align the crossovers and head over to the other track to switch wherever. I could have pulled on up across Douglas Avenue instead of doing this seesaw switching. I could have just gone to the other end of the siding, but I forgot. I didn't run the DT&I train far enough. I just stopped it when it got off camera, so it was actually blocking that the turnout. I'll know better next time. So all we're going to do at Wearever is pick up the Grand Trunk boxcar and place the GM&O boxcar in spot 1. So it'd be interesting to see what happens the rest of the operation, if it's just that boxcar or if it's, the engine. Because I just did that coupler conversion. It had Accumates on it. So now we're going to back up, leave the B&O boxcar on the main line, and then we'll place the GM&O boxcar. I've had a couple people in the comments and message me wanting to know why I don't use a caboose in Chillicothe. And because they know I have cabooses because they saw them on my challenge trains. The reason why is this part of Chillicothe was all considered within yard limits. And I'm going to show you at the end of this video an aerial view of the way Chillicothe is today, and sort of explain it a little bit. Just take about a minute or so. But just to be absolutely sure, I contacted a Facebook friend on the B&O Ohio Division Facebook group, who was an engineer at that time for CSX and worked in Chillicothe. And he said, yes, they did not use a caboose in the east end of Chillicothe. It's less than a mile from the yard, what you would call the yard, and it's actually within yard limits of Chillicothe. So they did not pull a caboose up there just for that shorter distance. Now, if they were going to run out to the interchange, out to Voss's Junction or out to the old naval munitions factory that's now warehouses, they were going to be gone, several miles, then they would use a caboose. But just to switch in town, they never used one. So now we're going to head back, get the boxcar, and then we will cross back over to the westbound track, and we'll end it there and do the rest of the switching in part 2. This engine runs perfect, and so does the DT&I GP35. They don't have sound, but I could not ask for them to run any better. Of course, some of you may be enjoying the lack of sound and wishing I would shut up. Okay, so as soon as this couples up, we'll stop the video and I'll show you the Chillicothe aerial view that I was talking about. This is Chillicothe today. Unfortunately, it's kind of sad. Depot was up here and the engine facility is right here. This is where the roundhouse was, turntable and all that. This is where the little yard was that they had here, where they had the caboose tracks and all that. This is Watt Street, W-A-T-T, and this is Douglas Avenue down here. This is ITT Grinnell. This is General Chemical, Miller Distribution. This is Union Spring. Here's Wearever. Here's the yard office at the ballpark. So from where the depot was up here to Douglas Avenue was less than a mile. Actually, there were 3 or 4 tracks ran the whole length of this. And down here, where I model now, was have like 2 tracks. There's actually about 6 tracks there. There's actually a double-ended yard right in here where it says Mary Lou Patton Park. Of course, this yard doesn't exist anymore, but you know, there always was a double-ended yard right here because this yard was so short. It was just hemmed in by everything. They really couldn't build a train there, so they might have to like put some cars together, run down here, and actually build the train down here. So that's why I don't use a caboose in Chillicothe. I will tack one more historic picture onto the end of this, and then I'll end it. In order to get the whole view here, I know you can't see a whole lot of detail, but this was Chillicothe in the 1950s. Here's the depot, roundhouse, turntable, diesel fueling racks. There were diesels parked here. The coaling tower was here. It was torn down in 1960. That's how I can place this photo. That and the diesels being there. So up here at the very top, that is ITT Grinnell right here. That's what I model, and General Chemical across. So from here to there was all considered the yard, and you actually even past there, another half mile or so, was all considered yard limits in Chillicothe. So I don't need a caboose. I'm glad, because it would just get in the way, to be honest with you, with the limited trackage I have. But I will always use a caboose no kill, because that's a branch line with miles in between towns, and so they always pulled a caboose with them until, of course, you know, the 80s when they no longer had to use cabooses. So everybody stay safe.